Do you want to learn about the current events and other topics that Americans are talking about in your office in the US? Hello everyone, I'm Jennifer Kumar from Authentic Journeys. And when we help bridge the culture gap between especially Indian teams and their American counterparts, often people ask me, so Jennifer, how can I learn more about the topics and the current events and maybe some of the slang and phrases that people are using in the part of the US that I'm going to before I even get there? Well, I can share a few tips on that topic right now in this video. But before I do, I'd like to let you know where I am and the setting I'm in. It looks really beautiful, right? This is Silver Spring State Park in New York State. I'm just doing a panorama so you can see. It's a state park that actually also has a marina, which is behind me now. You can see that building, that's the marina, and the pier, and sometimes there's boats. But it's middle of April and it's still a little bit cool. It's warm for this area, probably around 50 degrees Fahrenheit, but cold for India for sure. So what is the tip I'd like to share with you? Well, what I can suggest that you do, nowadays we have the internet, a great resource that we didn't have several decades ago, and definitely not so much information on it as we do today as even 5 years ago. I would suggest looking for a radio station, preferably an FM or an AM radio station that might do live streaming online that you can listen to during the morning hours of, say, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. local time of whatever time zone or city that you're going to in the U.S. Because during this time period, there's lots of morning talk shows on the radio. And maybe you can even ask your American clients, what are the radio stations they listen to on the way to work? Because they would know better than anyone, and it would be easier for you to find them online. It's okay to ask that question. Nobody will be offended. In fact, I'm sure they would find that a very interesting question to talk about. So what radio stations do you listen to on the way to work? Maybe they don't, and that's okay. But just say, I'd like to learn a little bit more about what people are talking about in your area before I come to the U.S. And just curious, can you refer me to any radio stations, FM or AM radio stations? Maybe I can listen to them online. Maybe there's live streaming, or maybe there's shows where you can look up based on the time slot and download a podcast of that show to listen to it. Obviously, in between the talk show parts where the hosts talk, there'll be commercials and songs and different things. But of course, that will also give you a flavor of that area. What are people listening to? What kind of songs are popular? Or what are the things to do? What are the different advertisements for restaurants or stores or whatever people are interested in that area? So it'll give you a lot of, fodder or things to talk about with your American counterparts. Where I am in Silver Spring State Park in New York State, we were actually listening to AM 1180, which is WHAM, WHAM. All radio stations have 4 letters as call letters, and it was coming from Rochester, New York. And it was hosted by a man and a woman. Usually these morning talk shows are hosted by a man and a woman who both have kind of complementary personalities, and they like to, be humorous and joke with each other and share interesting stories with each other. So yes, of course, the first few times that you listen, if you're not familiar with American accent, it may be hard to follow some of their accents depending on the country, part of the country that they're from, or, the kind of words they use or the speed of their voice. Don't let that scare you. That's okay. Just listen to it as background noise for a while. Get used to the flow of how people speak. And then over time, you'll be able to pick up words. Listening to the flow of a language is passive listening. Listening to the content is active listening. So, I've coached lots of people, and I've even given them this tip, and within a month or two, it's really improved their listening comprehension, as well as being able to have a conversation in the proper way, like picking up the cues, knowing when to enter a conversation, knowing how to politely interrupt. You'll pick up some of these cues from those talk shows as well. So that's what I suggest as a tip. And keep it in mind because it's a good one. A lot of people have benefited from it, and so can you. If you'd like to know more about what I, Jennifer Kumar, does through Authentic Journeys to help your global teams better interact with your American counterparts or other foreign team members, please get in touch with me through authenticjourneys.info. Thank you, and see you again. Bye.